Harriet,
Uh-huh.
is this the ad that you plan to run in the paper?
Yes?
It says here that you plan to take 20% off every item in the store.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we can't afford to take off 20%.
Oh, don't be silly. We raise the prices 30%, then we take off the 20%, and that gives us 10% more profit than as if we didn't have a sale at all.
That's dishonest.
Of course it is.
Shameless.
Oh, it's the same.
Black Friday deal?
I don't get it.
That's a deal?
Okay, this one? But it's the same.
Bro, that's not a deal.
I don't get it. I'm confused.
So did you guys fall for the fake Black Friday sales? I think a lot of people weren't scammed. The bottom line is people weren't showing up for these big deals because there's just too much information out there right now, and a lot of people don't want to fight the crowds. This is actually what's leading me into one of my main stocks that I want to talk to you guys about today. It's been one of the favorites of this page, and that's Amazon. Amazon was an outlier today, climbing the highest out of all of the big tech stocks. And it's showing us that as we continue to move forward, even though the stock market was mixed today, Amazon may be positioning for a much bigger move up. I'm going to take you guys briefly into the charts on that, and I've got a couple other very interesting topics to cover with you guys today.
We would like to ask everyone, please remain calm, conduct yourselves as calm shoppers, and please just be patient with us as we go through this day. Once again, 5 more minutes till blitz starts. Thank you very much.
Over there, look at it.
7:30 a.m. on Black Friday. And where is everybody? Where are they? Here goes the deals. And no people.
But the brick and mortar Black Friday deals were a bust. People did not show up. They're waiting for Cyber Monday. They're waiting for Travel Tuesday. And they're waiting to catch the deals online, which is a big concern, again, for some of the brick and mortar stores. We know that they came up off their lows, but is the downtrend for the brick and mortar stores over? I'm not convinced that it is yet. I think they're still going to have some trouble ahead, and I'm going to break down some of those charts in the coming months. But today we're going to stick to big tech. I'm going to cover the SPY, and I'm going to get into some Bitcoin a little bit with you guys and recap there. So Amazon has had some big news this week, and I'm not going to dive deep into it, but they're doing some incredible things with AI, as well as offering some new services, which are definitely going to add to the bottom line. And we got a confirmed breakout above that critical line of resistance at $147. It was $146 and some change, and it beat us down a number of times, but finally we've broken over it, and that's confirmed a move up to $157. But I'm going to show you guys in the charts that doesn't mean it's going to go straight there. We got to see how this thing performs above 147. We want to give it a couple days, maybe even give it till the end of this week. It's not just going to shoot straight up. I see two areas of support beneath us. The main support is 145, and the support beneath that, another strong support, is 138. There is light support at 142, but above us, I see the primary target that I think this is going to hit pretty soon, which is $153.30. It's probably going to get rejected there, and it's going to have to come back and pick one of those supports I just gave you, and then ultimately I think it's going to move on to 157. I wanted you guys to be able to screenshot this chart for yourselves and keep an eye on it because Amazon is on the move. All right, today, like I said, I'm going to be covering the SPY, Tesla, the market big picture, and Bitcoin. This is the Stocks with Josh show. I hope you guys had a great, restful Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you for all of the holiday greetings that I got from you guys. We're going to go strong into the end of this year to make more money, finish out this year strong. We want to buckle down and learn the trade lessons that we were taught in 2023 and be stronger investors in 2024. Thanks for hitting the like. Hit the subscribe if you want to join me on that journey. All right, let's just start off with some of the key data that is ahead of us this week. Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Consumer Confidence Report, and that's going to be a critical report, as it's going to point to us how this Q4 is going overall. How are the consumers feeling towards the spending? We saw with the opening videos that they didn't show up to the brick and mortar stores, and so that's a big concern. That report will give us further insight into that topic. And on Thursday, we've got the ongoing initial jobless claims. That tells us a lot about what to expect from the Fed, who is absolutely on the fence. We don't know what he's going to do, and it absolutely could turn the markets one way or the other. The heat map of the S&P 500 today was obviously very mixed. Some big tech was holding its own, but largely it was a speckled mixed day. We are, after all, on our fourth week up in a row, 10% off of the October lows on the SPY, and we are getting very near to a very critical breakout zone of $460 on the SPY. If we were to get above 460 and close, that confirms that we're going to be going all the way back up to the all-time high zone on the SPY of 475. That's what I'm keeping my eye on. At the moment, I feel like it's got to move sideways and it's got to come back from this particular high, but we're going to be watching that 460 range. If we do pull back right now, I see the strong support on the SPY being at that 438 zone. Largely, I see us moving sideways till the end of the year. That's what I see at the moment until the charts tell me otherwise. I wanted to briefly talk about Tesla. Basically, I'm going to leave you guys with this thought on Tesla. I do see us finishing out this year having touched $250. And if we go to the RSI, which is the relative strength index, which measures momentum, it gives us clues as to what might be happening in the chart. First thing I want to point out to you guys on that RSI is that we're in the above 50% zone, which means that the bulls are in charge on this daily candlestick chart right now. So the bulls are in charge, and we are still working off of an oversold condition that we are still coming up off of. And so those two things point to a bullish move up in the coming days. But we might need to come back a little bit as the market digests some of the big move that we had here in November before we make that final push up. And so I want you guys to be watching a couple critical areas where ultimately I think Tesla may be moving. Make sure if you trade Tesla to mark your calendar with Joshua's trend lines, 233 and 224. That's a gap fill. Those are the two areas that we could pull back to pretty easily. And then ultimately, I think that the RSI momentum up, I see resistance at the 64% mark on the RSI. And ideally, we might be at 250 when we get to 64% on the RSI. Keep an eye on those technicals with me. We'll see how it plays out. All right, quick station break for the Moomoo investment app. Right now, I want you to check out this offer that's going into the end of this year where you can receive up to 15 free stock, and specifically, they're currently giving 5.1% on your cash sitting in the account. That's an amazing deal. I think it's one of the best numbers for retail trading apps that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any that are higher than that, currently offering anything higher than that for cash in your account. Let me know if you know of one in the comment section. I'll mention it in the next video. Those are your offers right now from Moomoo. They've got better trade tools. They've got all the stop loss options that you need. They're available in the US, Australia, and Canada. Start loading up some cash in there and earning that 5.1%. And check out the offer for yourself by clicking on the link in the top pinned comment. All right, let's dive into crypto real quick. Guys, we had a really interesting news story here recently. The CEO of Binance has pleaded guilty to money laundering, and that's incredible. Now, what I find even more incredible than that particular news, that shocking news, is that Bitcoin did not crash. Even though this terrible news has come, the market just absorbed it, which is a pretty good sign that we are still in that bullish momentum move where we move sideways until we eventually get to the halving event and we move up. So for as long as Bitcoin stays above 30K, I'm going to stay bullish. Right now, we have stayed above 36,000. We're pushing up against 38,000. And as I've said in recent videos, I have a near target of 41K. And I believe that that will be the end of this current push. And then after that, we'll have 120 days of a bleed off until the halving event. I don't have a crystal ball. This is the bias or the overall view that I have of Bitcoin, and it's absolutely going to affect a lot of the cryptos and the miners that all of you guys trade if my theory plays out. Today in the Discord, I gave a trade alert update on Mara. I'm still in my Mara swing shares. I notified the Discord and did a video when I bought them at $9.30. The price has come up quite a bit since then. I'm also in some Riot shares. And the target that I gave in the Discord was $12.50 to $12.80. And if that forms, we're going to get a local bearish head and shoulders pattern, which could signal that push all the way down to $5, which I have been predicting. But if we zoom out and we look at a much longer time frame, we actually see that if we got to 5 and we reversed, we'd have a much bigger inverse bullish head and shoulders pattern that could potentially push us up to $36 on Mara in 2024. Guys, you get this type of technicals and updates from me here on this page and over in the Discord. The Discord is the Patreon of the Stock Squad. That's 4 traders. Stockmo, who did live trading in there today, Keenan Grace, Stock Up with Larry Jones, and myself, all providing trades, trade alerts, technicals, and answering questions for you guys. If you don't have it, click on the link in the top pinned comment to join the Patreon and join us in 2024 to get more content from the Stock Squad. All right, I've got one more commentary on the market to give, and then I'm going to identify another hot stock that I think is worth looking at right now here in just a minute. On my last video, I talked about the fact that money managers were sitting on a pile of cash. We're talking $5.6 trillion of cash that they didn't invest in the stock market in 2023 because they believed that there was going to be a 2023 recession Armageddon that never came. And now I believe going into the last month of this year, we're going to see what's called window dressing, which is where these money managers are beginning to continue to buy the dip so that they can show in their clients' portfolios that they do own Nvidia, they do own Apple, they do own Amazon as it continues to climb. Then you're going to ask yourself, well, Josh, does this mean that we're going to hit all-time highs here in the last month of this year? Well, that is possible, but I want you just to take this. This is more likely. What it's going to lead to is extremely choppy, volatile, whipsawing market here in the month of December. I wanted to point out a confirmation of this overview by Goldman Sachs, which said that they have just seen the largest 10-day buying spree in the market. $70 billion of stocks was purchased by commodity trading advisors to do what I was just saying, that window dressing. That's based on reporting between now and 2016. So we are absolutely seeing money flowing in to the market in December, and I think we're going to continue to see it. And I ultimately think the best way of playing this potential volatility that's at hand is to buy support and sell resistance. So we're going to be buying the dip and selling the rip simultaneously in the month of December. That's my game plan, and that's the type of stuff you're going to get from me. Okay, guys, what's the interesting stock that I've held off to the very end to share with you? It's Sofi. Now I have had an interesting relationship with Sofi. The last time that it came down to 445, I did not get in and buy at the lowest low. I had to catch up and buy it as it moved up. It had a wonderful run up, but here we are potentially back at a low, and it's starting to look very interesting to me. Now, I'm going to call it a potential buy between $6.50 and $6 for an ideal entry. And what really has caught my attention with it is that the CEO has been buying the stock. Now, you guys might have heard this circulating, a popular quote by Peter Lynch that says that officers, stock company CEOs, and board of directors, they might sell their stock for any number of reasons, but they only buy it for one reason, and that's that they believe the stock price is going up. And I think that's very true. And we just saw the CEO buy another 20,000 shares at $6.50. And so these things, along with the recent good earnings, really sheds a positive light on Sofi, and I'm beginning to get bullish on it, and I am beginning to take a position. I've got it set for a daily buy, and if we get even lower, I'll do some lump sum buying at $6. Now, this is not without risk. If it were to break beneath the $6 mark and close on the daily candlestick chart, it would signal that we could go back and retest all-time lows. I really don't know why it would do that, but you have to think through that risk, and you've got to consider putting a stop loss in to protect your capital, because capital is king. You need capital to invest and trade in these markets, and so that's why I will use a stop loss. I'll be putting it in, I think, initially at $5.70 is my current plan, and as it moves up, Then I will raise my stop loss, and I'll be very happy once it gets above my entry price, and I will honor my stop loss if it kicks me out in the days ahead, because I don't fall in love with stocks and I don't fall in love with stories. I'm just trying to make some money by doing some careful trading and investing. Guys, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these stocks I've talked about today are the most interesting to you? SoFi, Amazon, Tesla. Do you think the SPY is going to hit all-time highs in December of 2023? Where do you think the markets are going? Let me know. As always, thank you for hitting the likes. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for all the kind comments, and hit that subscribe if you want to join in this journey. Peace and blessings. Take care. Talk to you soon.